No, certainly knocking in the pressure ones.
Eight. Nine.
Well, the pink will go here. Alex could pot the pink, but it's not an easy one. And the last thing Alex wants to do at this stage, of course, is to let Steve in with an easy red. So he's obviously thinking of playing safe again and keeping Steve under the utmost pressure, not letting him get his cueing arm going at all.
Nine to Alex Higgins.
And there we see again another mistake by Steve. Hit that too thin, giving Alex another chance of a red into the corner.
Eight. Nine.
Well, at the moment, Alex certainly very much in command
16.
here. And it makes an interesting situation because so many people have said that they want to see Steve put under pressure. Well, now they're seeing it.
24. 25.
So now 62 in front, 67
32.
on the table, so it just requires one red to leave Steve needing snookers again.
To Alex Higgins.
Well, Steve was a little bit fortunate that he caught the knuckle of that middle pocket. Left the cue ball in a safe place.
And that's the red
One.
that Alex needs to virtually clinch this frame. And I think we've probably seen the best tactical game of snooker Alex Higgins has ever played. These first two frames, apart from the first 2 or 3 shots in the first frame, I don't think he's put a foot wrong and kept Steve under pressure right from the word go.
One. Eight. Nine. 16. 16 to Steve Higgins.
So Steve Davis requiring 3 snookers now.
And even noticeable there, although Alex is 54 in front, still refusing to go for the red there, trying not to let Steve get his cue arm going in a break.
Well, that's a good red, and it's come nicely on the black. So he needs all the points he can get with the reds that he takes.
And of course, should he pot this black, he has an easy snooker position on. As you can see, he just needs to stun the white where the red is and send the red down the table.
8. Steve Davis.
Steve Davis keeping this frame alive is certainly setting some poses for Alex. And this is a very important part of the frame, although Alex is a strong favourite to win it. Well, I think that puts the frame beyond doubt. Oh, my word, that was close. And Steve Davis says, yes, thank you very much, that's enough. And Alex pulls another one back.
Well, they've got 2 more to play before the scheduled interval. But Alex Higgins and Steve Davis, they're both taking a little breather, understandably, I think, after those two opening frames. And you sitting at home watching this final live with us, you're probably saying what I've been talking to Willie Thorne about here is that surely against all the odds for Alex Higgins to come out at the start of an afternoon when he's never really at his best and take 2 frames off the best starter in the world.
Yeah, it's amazing actually. Alex has really, his safety play I think has been the prime point of this match so far. For the first game and a half, Steve's literally not had a shot. You know, Alex's safety has been absolutely tremendous. Kept him off the table, and he certainly deserves to have won the first 2 frames.
And he's got this hustle and bustle about him, which you normally don't see till the evening.
That's right. I mean, like we said before the start, in the practice room he was tearing around, went up with his daughter and that, and messing around with her present she's got for her birthday. I've never seen him look so good, and of course it showed in his play so far.
Talking about Alex Higgins' safety play, which he's very conscious of. He always says, you know, you'd say I'm an electric potter, I'm a hurricane, but I'm the best safety player in the business. Steve Davis's safety play, by Davis's high standards, hasn't been that impressive.
Yeah, today actually Alex has put him under an awful lot of trouble though. He's been tucked up on the top cushion virtually every shot. And of course when you're in that position it's so hard to hit the balls thin. I mean Steve actually has just been hitting the balls far too thick. Consequently he's either been catching the blue or not getting the ball past the baulk line and leaving Alex the easier safety shot to play. But that's been the story of the match so far. Alex's safety has just been too good.
So why the big change in Steve Davis? I mean, Jack Conan was talking to John Spencer about it. Do you think it can be getting to him? I mean, could he believe there's a repeat of 12 months on?
Well, knowing Steve about his tunnel vision when he's playing is tremendous. He's without doubt the best temperament player in the game, and I don't think it's going to concern him at all. Obviously, like 9-7, he must probably win the next frame, otherwise he's going to feel uncomfortable. But he's such a great competitor, Steve, and I'm sure that you'll still see the fighting qualities.
When he's back there, his normal way, the little sip of the water, just composing himself as ever. But of course, he, from one stage in this match, was 5-0 up. It looked like it was going to 6-0, and now there's just 2 frames in it. Steve Davis 9, Alex Higgins 7. Remember, this is a best of 31 frame final, and you need 16 to win it. Alex Higgins still taking a bit of time off out there, and not unusual for him, because I think Willie, at this stage of the game, he likes to go out and sort of compose himself. He does get so head up, doesn't he?
Yeah, actually, the beauty of this, Alex, is probably a little bit of gamesmanship as well. The fact that, like, Steve's, you know, lost the first 2 games, he's given him more time to think about it. And, of course, Alex is just coming back in now. The leisurely walk for Alex is usually a lot quicker than that, isn't he? He's just trying to make Steve realise he's got a battle on his hands.
Yeah, I've got the stage.
That's right.
So, there we are then. Steve Davis to break, and moving into the commentary box, afternoon, Ted Lowe.
Good afternoon, David. And certainly we're seeing the tensions and drama of this final day's play unfolding before our very eyes.
And what a tremendous pot there from Alex under pressure. That one he had to get.
Seven. 8. 13. 13 to Alex Higgins.
Has he got away with the mistake?
Well, it's the first loose shot we've seen from Alex for virtually 2 frames. I think what he was playing in actual fact was a plant on those 2 reds and hit it completely wrong. He's been very, very lucky in not leaving Steve anything easier than this.
Well, Alex once again has only got the cue ball halfway down the table. And I think that mistake is going to cost him.
What?
Anxious to get the black on its spot.
Eight. 9. 16. 17.
Not what Alex intended there. Intended to kiss the red just to the left of the pink and stay on the pink in the right-hand corner pocket. Now has a much more difficult blue, or may even again elect to play safe.
To Alex Higgins.
And I think that shot Alex has just played shows what's in his mind. He's determined not to let Steve in for any easy shots if he can at all help it. He's going to make Steve fight for every shot. Well, Steve's obviously decided the time has come, and he's having a go at this red into the corner. And that's what happens when you've been kept under constant pressure. I mean, he was a long way out on that shot.
Eight.
Very close to this red. Has to be careful of the push shot.
Eight to Alex Higgins.
Steve has yet to move from his chair.
Yes, and that is the one thing
Quiet, please.
Alex didn't want to do, is to let Steve in with an easy opening like this.
One. Eight. Nine. Nine to Steve Davis. I must ask you to refrain from shouting.
Quite extraordinary what pressure can do.
One.
Meditating.
Three. Four. 11.
And that Mr. Steves can only bring more pressure on. Alex now 48
19.
in front, so just wants red and a colour to leave Steve needing snookers once again.
20. $27. 28. 34. 35. 42. 49. 51.
The defending champion then taking the first 3 frames this afternoon.
54. 58. 63. 69.
A very nice clearance then, a break of 69 by the defending champion Alex Hurricane Higgins, bringing the match now to within 1 frame. Steve Davis leading 9 frames to 8. Certainly so far this afternoon we've watched terrific tension and drama, and John Spencer with me. I'd like to say, John, or ask you really, Steve missing that black as he did just before that final break was surely proof of the strain he's under this afternoon.
Yes, Ted, obviously he's under pressure, and Alex has kept him under pressure and kept him out of the game for 2 frames, and suddenly he had an opportunity. And of course, you know, this is what pressure does. You try too hard to make as much as you can of the opportunity when it comes, and the cue action just isn't there, and Steve is certainly showing a lot of pressure. I think he's probably studied longer today than he actually took to knock all the balls in yesterday.
Yes, standing around the table. And here is the shot that we're talking about, the simple black that in a position like this yesterday missed the black completely from the point of view of the pocket. Now yesterday there would have been no doubt whatsoever Steve would have cleared the table from a situation like that.
18 frames.
But here, with all the strains of the final and the last day's play, all sorts of things can happen, and probably will. Alex breaks off.
And of course, Ted, now it's got to 9-8. I'm sure that the thought of last year's result will be still in Steve's mind.
14. To Steve Davis.
Didn't bank on taking that red out.
One. Six. Six to Alex Higgins.
Well, Alex caught that far too thick, and I think this time there's a red into the centre.
One.
And this is certainly Steve's best chance
Six.
to date. Plenty of
Seven.
reds available on both pink and black free.
14. $22. 23.
Bit straight on the blue.
28. 29.
And suddenly Steve looking more like his normal self. Got back
36.
into his rhythm now.
$37.
Break goes to 44 and he's 52 points in front.
44.
The advantage of his height.
44 for Steve Higgins. One. One to Alex Higgins.
That's how close the cue ball is to the brown.
1 to Alex Higgins.
Well, now there's 50 points in it, and there's a possible 59 points on the table. Yes, he's upset. Missing the red into the middle. Position there of the 3 reds, none of which will part, as you can see. Steve with his sip of water, part of his makeup.
And the way he came to the table there, I think this red must go past the blank. Already 50 points in front, just wants the 1 red to put him 51 in front with 51 on the table.
One. One to Steve Davis.
And that was not a good shot from Steve. Alex can get past the yellow to this red. Alex anxious there to see whether or not he'd left that red out of the top pocket. 51 points in it and 51 points on the table.
In actual fact, Ted, I think he's nearly snookered Steve. Having just a little bit of running at present, Alex.
Tempted, I think, to throw the towel in there.
And I certainly think he can do now.
Eight. 9. 15. 16. 18. 20. 23.
Alex lets one get away.
27. 32.
The world
38.
champion then opens his account for this final day's play. He now leads 10 frames to 8.
Well, what an afternoon of snooker it's been so far. Steve Davis just taking that last frame of this little session before they go in for their break. But what an afternoon it's been for Alex Higgins. Yet again, coming back when nobody really gave him much of a chance. 8-10 then, and I can tell you that before the start of the afternoon, the bookmakers would have given you 6-1 against Higgins producing the sort of comeback he produced last time and ended up by winning the match. Well, he won't get that anymore. It's now just 9-4, but they're still making Davis 3-1 on to win the championship. Anyway, so we've got another great United Kingdom final here. John Spencer has been commentating this afternoon, just popped in to watch these frames with me now. John, that was an afternoon for Alex Higgins.
Yes, a very good afternoon snooker, all round in actual fact. And I think the turning point was the first frame. Steve is usually such a fast starter. Alex takes a long time to settle down, and after 13 minutes, I think they'd only scored 22. And of course, a lot of safety, and this had given Alex time to settle down. And when he got his first chance, of course, he got a decent break from it.
Had he got in straight away, he might have been in a bit of trouble, mightn't he?
That's right. He could have split the reds and, you know, missed an easy one, which he did yesterday quite a few times. But today he had plenty of time to settle down.
Just saying to Willie Thorne that obviously Steve Davis is under a bit of pressure. I mean, let's be fair to him. Yesterday he played some of the greatest snooker anybody could ever wish to see. It was copybook stuff. But this afternoon, according to his high standards, he hasn't been allowed to play or hasn't produced the great safety play we know the world champion's capable of.
That's right. And this can only be put down to pressure. As you say, yesterday's snooker was just, well, it faultless really yesterday. And today he's missed, you know, when he's got in, he's actually missed easy pots for him.
OK, good afternoon so far. A lot more to come in this one yet, so let's get back down into the hall here. Preston Guildhall live on this Sunday afternoon with the final. Steve Davis 10, Alex Higgins 8. Here they come. Well, there we are. Quiet, says Alex Higgins. The atmosphere obvious. And up in the commentary box, Willie Thorne is there with Clive Everton. And here is Steve Davis to restart this session. 10-8.
An anxious look to see whether he's covered a long red.
Well, Alex would dearly like to play to get onto the red near the black. He's just thinking if there's any angle around there, probably off one or off three cushions. Seems about the only place where the white's going to be safe. There's a slight chance, of course, to play at one cushion, but must certainly finish near the cush if he's going to play the shot. Alex is now looking at the angle if he's going to play three cushions or even two. Must first of all miss the kiss on the pink and then the kiss on the outside red. And that looks just about perfect. Of course, not only has Alex escaped the snooker, he's also left Steve in a little bit of trouble to get the white back in baulk.
He was a little nervous of hitting the blue, but fortunately he struck it a glancing blow rather than full in the face. There was a route through for the cue ball if Higgins had made a thinner contact on the red, whether he'd potted it or not. But this looks an ominously good opening.
8. 9. 16.
And if you thought that Davis gave that an awful lot of consideration for such a simple shot, it wasn't that shot that he was bothered about, but the forthcoming sequence. And despite all his pre-planning, he's gone wrong.
Yes, Clive, Steve would have finished perfect on the black bar for just kissing the left hand of the bottom two reds. And I'm sure now we'll see Steve playing a safety shot.
It's amazing what a difference pressure makes. In the early stages yesterday, Davis was making 60 or 70 at least from those chances. Considering that Higgins actually went for the pot, he's left Davis in quite a tricky situation here, in that he can't do anything terribly constructive.
Well, Alex appears to be contemplating playing the pot, leaving the white where it is now. Knowing that Steve would still have a difficult safety shot.
That was well worked out. Davis intending to move, as indeed he did, both reds from the top cushion. There was no attempt at the plant. And that last safety shot of Davis's may pay handsome dividends.
One. Seven. Eight. $15. 16. 23. 24. 29.
Very important frame this for Davis. If he can get three in front again, I think he'd feel considerably less tension within himself than he's felt in the early part of the session with Higgins catching him up.
30. 36. 37. 44. Steve Davis.
And the pink will leave Higgins needing a snooker.
Seven. 8. 15. 16.
There could be another one, of course, but it seems to me that Davis has surmounted a psychological crisis in winning the last 2 frames.
$23. 23 to Steve Davis.
When I said the last 2, I meant, of course, the last one plus the one in progress. Certainly no mathematical possibility of Higgins winning this one.
5. 6. 11. 11 to Alex Higgins, train conceded, 20 to Steve Davis.
Higgins concedes then. Davis leads by 11 frames to 8.
Well, John Spencer and I are sitting here watching that, and John, this word pressure comes up all the time, but my goodness, I think that was a fine example of how Davis has reacted to pressure.
Yes, this of course proves what a champion Steve is. He came to in the last frame before the interval, and then come out after the interval, and he looks completely composed again. Whereas,
Sorry, I was going to say in the early part of this afternoon, he was obviously aware that the crowd, I mean, they love a story, they love a man who comes back, and they were practically cheering every scoring shot of Higgins's, weren't they?
that's right. The crowd's always against the champion, I would say. But again, he's come back there and shown that he can settle himself down, compose himself, and he's played some super snooker again there.
You see, it's funny you said that, because one tends to regard Davis as the champion. He is the world champion. You tend almost to forget here that Higgins actually is the reigning title holder. We've cast our mind back, I think, to 12 months ago. He actually does hold this title. It's a very unique situation, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. Mind you, when I say a champion, I don't mean a champion, a winner,
right.
more than a champion.
Right.
And this is one of Steve's biggest assets. He gets under pressure, but he can play under pressure.
And I think he's very keen to win this, because he said to me when he was in here the other day talking, he said, you know, I haven't won this for quite a few years. It's probably the longest gap he's ever had in not winning a title.
That's right, it's about 3 years, is it?
Anyway then, so Steve Davis coming back, as we said, after that little mid-afternoon interval to pull back after the 3 frames in a row from Alex Higgins, taking one before the interval, taking this one. Here is the United Kingdom champion, Mr. Higgins, 8-11.
The last 2 frames have gone away from Higgins, so he's lost a bit of momentum after his fine start to the afternoon.
Four.
There were a few signs that Davis was cracking early on. In fact, of the few matches that he has lost, most of them have been when he's actually been in front.
Five. Ten.
How should Steve decide to take this red on at the bottom of the pack? He will certainly have to force the cue ball right through the reds, and the reds are going to split all over the table.
11. Eighteen. 19.
Well, that was a good recovery shot from Steve there, obviously playing for the black off the last red. I'm sure was quite surprised when he found out that the pink did pot, but very difficult pink, and played it straight into the middle of the pocket and now back in
25.
perfect position.
26. $33. $41. $42. $49.
Davis has got into that screw shot just a little bit too vigorously. Though fortunately he was able to sort out an alternative to the red that he was planning to take next.
$55. $56.
Well, Steve does have a perfect angle on the black should he wish to play into the three reds here to remain on the bottom red. But I'm sure would probably make the frame safe first, which he has done, playing for the loose red rather than risk anything at this stage.
63. $64.
And this time we'll probably just stun the red in to leave the natural half ball on the black for the three reds.
$70. $77. $78.
Davis won't be too bothered about that loss of position. He's already done more than enough to secure this frame. In fact, in the last frame Higgins only scored 11, and in the frame before that only 8.
$91.
A momentary loss of concentration robs Davis of his 3rd century of the match, his 4th of the tournament. But he'll be quite content to be 4 frames in front, as he will be after the formalities of this frame have been concluded.
One to Alex Higgins. One.
And Steve will certainly be using all his powers of concentration to make sure he takes the last 6 colours. Would definitely want to keep Alex off the table, as Clive mentioned, hasn't scored many points in the last 3 frames. So
7.
Alex certainly won't be feeling too good at the moment. Played tremendous snooker in the first 3 frames, and the situation's completely reversed in the next 3.
$10. $14. $19.
So Steve Davis has absorbed the early pressure that was placed on him in this session. He started the day 4 in front. He didn't panic when his lead was cut for only 1 frame, and now he's back 4 in front again. He leads by 12 frames to 8.
Well, in this United Kingdom snooker final, fluctuating. Higgins having the great start this afternoon, and then Davis taking the last frame before that first interval, and then coming back here to stamp his authority on the game once again. Just reminding you that it's the first man to 16 frames who wins the United Kingdom Championship and the £20,000. And we're coming up to the end of our first programme here on BBC One this afternoon. We've been with it right from the start, so just under 3 hours live of this Coral United Kingdom Championship. And we will, of course, be back here tonight at our first programme. In fact, it's at 8:35, and no doubt at all that we've got a fascinating night's snooker ahead of us. But Steve Davis, certainly the man who's proved his worth here. As John Spencer was saying just now, this is what makes him the great champion, recovering from a situation where, in his mind, certainly the thoughts of 12 months ago of that comeback, even with him, had to be there. And he saw Higgins this afternoon starting off so well, and suddenly finds the authority to come back, to go 10-8, 11-8, 12-8. And Davis must know, of course, that Higgins, as ever, has got this great army of fans, the cards in as ever, a lot of the supporters shouting for every shot. But so far this afternoon, he's overcome that and pulled himself back to 12-8. As I say, just a few minutes left of this first programme here on BBC One. And listen to the shouts, because the crowd's favourite, the People's Champion, taking just a little break there, but he's back. And we'll just stay with it for a few minutes or so, continuing our live coverage of what's become a fascinating final.
Final frame of the third session, Steve Davies to break.
Yeah, but it's easy with all these.
I can assure you you're helping nobody by repeatedly shouting. Please help the players by remaining quiet.
Well said, Jim Thorpe.
And so, with no points yet on the board in this frame, with Davis leading Alex Higgins, the champion, 12 frames to 8. As I say, that's the end of our first almost 3-hour programme here on BBC One this afternoon. Remind you, we will be restarting the final for you here on BBC One at 8:35 tonight, and my goodness, there's no snooker left in this one yet, I can tell you. If you want to continue your afternoon of sport in about, 10 minutes' time, I'll be nipping over to BBC Two and opening up the first ski Sunday of the season. We'll be taking a look at the men who come down the side of mountains at 80 miles an hour or more, and Ron Pickering is joining us from Italy with the first World Cup action. That's on BBC Two. But here at Preston, we'll be back at 8:35 with the champion keeping a wily eye on Mr. Steve Davis, who leads him 12 frames to 8. Back at 8:35.